I'm Heidi.
And I'm Dave.
And we're the Harveys. We've been with St. Mary of the Lake for about 5.5 years, but our faith journey started long before that. As a child, I was very blessed to know Jesus and who he was as my personal savior from a very young age. I attended tech retreats and went to Catholic school and really knew who he was, and that was a great blessing. I went to St. Thomas and in 1993 met my first husband there. And we moved to Ohio to continue to pursue our faith and to get a degree in theology. We moved back to the cities, and around the year 2000, I thought Y2K was going to be the hardest thing to face that year, but in February I realized that I would be divorced. And I had 3 kids at the time, and so we moved in with my parents, and I was broken. I was so, my faith was really tested at that point. Things hadn't been that hard, and now they were. But Jesus was with me, and I'm so glad I knew him and who he was, that he could help carry me through.
I went to church as a kid my entire life, but I really didn't know who the Lord was, at least personally, until I got to college. I went to North Dakota State, and I was lost one day, and someone stepped out of the crowd and helped me find the room that I was looking for. That same individual helped me also come to a saving faith in Jesus Christ, and I was so thankful for that. After college, I too was married and moved to the East Coast, and once I got out of the military, came back, and we were part of a large church, an evangelical church here in the Twin Cities where we taught and served. And like Heidi, my marriage ended as well. It was devastating, and it would have been very difficult, or more difficult, had I not known who the Lord was. The Lord did sustain me through that difficult time.
Yes, and during that time then, around that same period, we had about 5 years where we were single and working with our kids and picking up the pieces and growing in our faith. And eventually we got our annulments. Although that journey was bumpy and challenging, it was a very worthwhile experience, and I think the Lord helped both of us realize what happened and what we really need to work on so that it didn't happen again. So eventually we had a mutual friend, some friends that wanted to set us up on a date, and we had kind of fought it for a while, but we went on a blind date and we had a great time, and the Lord really showed us that we could open up our hearts, not only more to him, but to each other, and start to rebuild.
Certainly, one of the things on that blind date that I saw is a woman full of joy, and I really liked that. I certainly knew that Heidi was a Christian and that was the center of her joy. And so as we dated more, I got to know her more and experience more of that, and loved that part of her dearly. I wasn't Catholic, but we started going to church because we knew that needed to be the center of our relationship. And so I took the RCIA class, and as I like to tell people, I was probably the hardest RCIA candidate there's ever been, because I asked so many questions and was prepared and studied, but people were gracious and answered my questions and really helped me in my own journey into the church. So I was very thankful for that.
So we've been married 10 years this year, and it's been a great journey. You know, I think we had high hopes of blending our kids and having just this really easy path, but it's been a hard path, and our faith has been tested, and now that the kids are big, they all get along great, and things are working well. But we continue to have to work on our relationship, and we do that in a couple ways. One is to really pray together every day. We do read the scriptures, and we work on making sure we meet each other's needs and are loving in a way that protects us from having to go through that difficult time again.
Certainly one of the things that Heidi and I enjoy doing is serving in the church and outside of the church as well. And we do that in a few different groups here at St. Mary's, and are thankful for those groups and what that means to us personally, and hopefully for those involved. And so we have built that into our marriage as part of the things that we do to keep us strong.
Yeah, so one of the things that I really feel like the Lord has taught us is how to trust him even when it's hard and when things don't make sense, but that he makes all things new. And so we're grateful to be a part of St. Mary's and to the opportunity to grow not only closer to the Lord, but to each other as he heals our hearts in marriage.
So thank you for letting us share our story with you.